Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany. In this video, I'm going to recap about who I am and what I do, regardless of if you've watched my videos in the past or if you're new here, in 3 overall topics. 1, what I'm doing in Japan. 2, how I got here. 3, what to look for in 2025. By the way, did you notice this video is not recorded? My own AI avatar is lip syncing to the words of my own voice recording. There's a reason why I decided to proceed with AI for some content on this channel, and I'll explain why in the description box below. But back to the topic, in terms of what I'm doing in Japan, I'm currently a full-time worker in Tokyo as a bilingual social media analyst at a marketing agency. As for my childhood, I was originally born and raised in Japan, in Ibaraki Prefecture, and as a family, we relocated to several places and ended up living in Shirosato Machi, and I attended a local elementary school until 6th grade. To fully encompass our experience of living in Japan as a family and how my parents raised 2 kids in a Japanese society, I highly recommend watching an interview they did with the Black Experience Japan, which I'll attach the link for you to watch. But to share a little bit about it here, the video was interesting to me because there were things that I didn't know they had considered when raising me and my brother, and they explained well their perspective from an American standpoint of their experience in Japan and as full grown adults, whereas myself and my brother, we were just raised here as kids. So do let me know in the comment section your thoughts on some of the topics that were mentioned in the video. But in any case, I lived in Japan until March 2011, right after I graduated elementary 6th grade. Because on March 11th, there was the 9.0 magnitude earthquake and tsunami that hit Fukushima. We lived roughly 100 miles south from the location, so the magnitude was more or less 7 where we lived. And we lived by the mountains and not near the ocean, so no tsunami effect, but the roads and grounds were pretty damaged. There's a lot to uncover with just the earthquake experience, which I'd like to take the time to explain in another video. But from that, my parents decided it's best we move to America for a couple of reasons and circumstances we were in at the time. One of them was that moving to America would be a good chance for my brother and I to improve on our English skills by living in America and going to an American school. So I lived in America for 6.5 years between junior high and high school. And long story short, I personally had a rough time living in America, so I decided to go to university in Japan. And I've shared briefly what my experience was like in America in some YouTube channels, so I'll also provide those links for you to take a look. But essentially, I returned to Japan in 2017 and attended Temple University Japan campus in Tokyo, graduated in 2021, and have been working full-time ever since. Also, I'm not sure if I took the chance to share how myself and my parents ended up on YouTube, so I'd like to share how that happened. In 2019, I was a university student working at a California restaurant in a place called Daikanyama, and a friend of the owner came in as a customer. The owner introduced me to her friend in English, so the conversation proceeded in English. But then when I went back to work and spoke Japanese to my coworkers, the friend called me out to say, "Wait, I didn't know you spoke Japanese." He then shared with me that he's a YouTuber and that he usually introduces people who are half or mixed with Japanese about their experience in Japan. His name was Maxi Capo. He then said he wanted to do an interview with me, which would be one of the first times he's interviewing someone who is fully a foreigner but born and raised in Japan. So I agreed to do so. After our interview, he shared with me another channel and recommended I do an interview with them as well, and that was the Black Experience Japan. So I reached out to them and we decided to do an interview, but the video with Black Experience Japan went out first in March. That blew up immediately with 1 million views within a few months, and then the video with Maxi Capo came out a few months after and also got 1 million views within a few months. And those videos were in English primarily, so it did create a buzz towards English speakers. Then in July or August of 2019, I got approached by a Japanese journalist to interview me about my background to write an article. And that was the first buzz I had in Japanese media because the news got pasted onto Yahoo News, Line News, Asahi News, and other media sites. And of course, all of this was unexpected. But it was more unexpected when 2020 came around and George Floyd happened. The news spread also in Japan like wildfire, and Japanese media came up to me and also other people who are from African descent living in Japan to share their perspective of the Black Lives Matter movement and their experience of being Black and also living in Japan. Although I was honored to be a part of the conversation, I had to take a break from social media afterwards since it was quite overwhelming, and I had to think of what I wanted to do after graduating university. Then I got a job after graduation in 2021, went through a phase in my personal life that year and started posting again slowly in 2022. Then in 2023, I'm back on track and I was interviewed on 2 other YouTube channels, but fully in Japanese this time, so that went through another wave of social media presence, and wanted to get this podcast going in 2024. But 2024 ended up turning into a life learning lesson for me, and now here we are in 2025. With that said, there are 4 prominent interview videos of myself, 2 in English, 2 in Japanese, and each video has close to or more than 2 million views each. So combining them, I have nearly 4 million people that have heard my stories in both English and in Japanese in the past 5 years, which is absolutely insane. And I would like to thank everyone to those who have watched my previous interviews. With that said, I'm planning on continuing the conversation through my podcast called Baton Touch Tokyo to share contents regarding bilingualism, biculturalism, culture in America, culture in Japan, and African American studies. I hope this video served as an updated version of who Tiffany is, but do let me know if you have any additional questions or comments. I'd be happy to answer them through videos moving forward. Until next time.